Talking with the Experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business, about business owners for business owners. And you can find it on all good podcasting on all good podcasting streams and on YouTube. I'm getting a bit tongue-tied today. Diane's just got me all flabbergasted. Never mind. My guest today is Diane Klem-Goode, and her topic is going to be empowerment through wealth creation. And Diane is the founder of Good Property Group, which is a property buyers agency specialising in residential and commercial property acquisitions. She has personally been able to create a multi-million-dollar property portfolio, including land, residential, commercial properties, using growth, positive cash flow, and future development strategies. She helps her clients with an effluent property purchase and also provides tips that not only allow an investor across a broad range of property investments, but she knows how to help her clients get the profitable results that they're looking for. So without further ado, welcome, Diane.
Hi, Rose. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So empowerment through wealth creation is obviously you're a very passionate property acquisitions person. What other ways have you been able to acquire your wealth?
I think it first of all starts with your mindset. With anything, you want to succeed in anything, you've got to adapt a certain mindset, and you've got to actually look at your money patterns, your financial patterns, and you look at, do you have, are you an impulse spender? Do you, are you hoarding your money and not living, a balanced life as well? So you look at all of those things, and if you work with a coach, you remove all your limiting beliefs and your blockages as well. And then you can sort of start on to, your planning. If you really want to create a substantial property portfolio, I recommend a 7-year goal for your property, backtrack it over the year, and you break it down to actually monthly, weekly, and daily action steps. So you're on track. And so it just takes, a bit of mindset, your planning, and then, of course, action. Is the most important thing. It's easy to daydream and think I want certain things, but life gets in the way, and sometimes you're not the best person to hold yourself accountable. So working with a great coach, or surrounding influencers or mentoring groups is a great way to keep you on track.
Yep. So how does one get the mindset? Step me through the process of getting that mindset in place so that you can get the value that you want, that you're looking for.
Okay, so what you do is you find a mentor or a coach. And what I do with my clients is I look at every area in their life, because sometimes it's, not just the financial side. Sometimes it can be the health side as well, and the relationships. It's no good being very strong in one area and weak in the other. You've got to sort of try and even them out. You may be strong in certain areas than others, but a little bit balance is a really good thing. But you look at your limiting your beliefs, like what's your language to yourself? What do you say when it comes to money, when it comes to earning it, when it comes to spending it? What are those thoughts that keep going through? Every time you've got to pay a bill, do you panic? Do you get angry? It's that sort of your relationship with the money as well. And then it's also, it can be upbringing. It can be, what was your family thinking around money? What was their lifestyle? Did they come from a poverty mindset? Were you brought up with not much, and you were, some people are taught that, that rich people are evil, or rich people, aren't good people, whatever that is. And it's quite interesting to uncover that with clients, because that's what they sort of carry forward in their life. What they are, especially your surrounding influences. I look at surrounding influences because, if the people that you spend the most time with have negative beliefs around money, then they're not uplifting you as well. They're sort of they can hold you back. So I do recommend they look at their surrounding influences, also their physiology as well when it comes to money, and their confidence when it comes to money, and also changing past stories. There's sometimes events where it could be involved a parent and a child that they've interpreted it a different way than perhaps what a mother would have meant or a father would have meant. But, you know, when you're young and you're 5, you might think, oh, no, it was you just have that different twist on it. So sometimes with a client, you can just talk that through and have them go back to when they're 5, and you re-look at the situation, and they get new learnings, positive learnings from it. That in itself, I've seen clients transform in front of my eyes. Just that weight, because they've carried that, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm going to fail. So just to see that in their colour, their muscles on their face change and their colour comes back. So, and their confidence and that spark in their eyes ignites. See that happen, and for someone that thought they'd never buy property ever in their life, set a 7-year goal, several millions of dollars, that's magic.
Yeah, I've always been, I've been told recently that when you have money, you should thank it. You should thank your money for all the good that it does for you. Do you believe in that, or is it a bit woo-woo?
No, I like anything. Gratitude is great, however you want to do it. You know, when you receive money, be grateful. Also, though, when you spend it when you receive a bill, a lot of people get a bill and they think, oh, and they get upset and angry. But just be thankful, because it's the universe telling you that, you know, you're getting these bills because, you know, you have the capabilities to be able to afford to pay for them. You may not know how at that stage, but it's sort of pushing you a little bit. So, yeah, whether money comes in or goes out, especially, you know, when it goes out, think of how many people, you know, even your groceries, how many people does that support? You know, how many staff at, you know, at Woolies or Coles, wherever you shop, and down to the farmers. Just be grateful that, you know, you're in a state where you live in a country, you've got healthy food. So you I like to sort of always put a positive twist, because it makes life a lot happier.
It does, yes, yeah. And being positive and grateful for just the minor details in your life, I think is just a wonderful thing anyway. If you practice gratitude, good things usually happen for you. So.
Oh, it does. Especially like when you change their story around money and their limiting beliefs. It's amazing once they get cleared. It's either the people that present themselves or it's the wealth that comes. They're so much lighter, and for some reason they just attract.
Yeah, it's I have noticed that some people attract more money more easily than others. So yeah, it's definitely a mindset. And if you've got, even if you portray an outwardly positive outlook to money, it's actually what you're telling yourself subconsciously, and your subconscious knows everything. So
it is. That's where the magic happens. And if you've got a thought of like a scarcity mindset, well, then it's always going to be scarce, because you keep telling yourself. But if you come from an abundance mindset, you know, that it's just going to keep flowing, and as long as you keep taking your steps that you've got to do, it's amazing what comes to you.
So how would anyone go about starting a property portfolio, Diane?
What do? First of all, mindset. Second of all, look at your money. Look if there's any money leakages. You know, look at your spending pattern. Is very, very important to see, you know, where you can cut down. Keep really, really clean accounts as well. Set up your accounts in a way that you safeguard your savings. Like when your money comes into your account, first of all, pay yourself into a separate account, even if it's just an online account where you don't have a card access. So you try and block it all, and dipping into it, which is quite easy to do when you see it mount up. And so that's a good thing if you can do that, a certain percentage every pay you get. And then you sort of set up your outgoings account, which is all your bills that come in. Then the next one you can set up is your actual cash account, whereas that's when you go shopping, when you go out for dinner, entertainment as well. So once you've got that sorted, then you can also you must look at your credit score. A lot of people don't realise there's such a thing as a credit score. If you have one that isn't in the excellent zone, then I would recommend getting a report, because sometimes there's mistakes on your credit score that can be cleaned up, because the higher your credit score, then the more the larger amount you can borrow, as well as the best interest rate, best deal. So I would do that, and then I would. You've got to make a plan. You've got to work out, where are you investing? Is it commercial? Is it residential? Is it industrial? And then within those areas, you've got to then nut it down a little bit further. What's your strategy? Is it high growth? Is it development? Is it to renovate? There's so many things you can do. And once you've picked that with your first property, then you can sort of space it out over the years and to look, I think, a really strong, robust property portfolio is actually one that's diversified across residential, commercial and industrial. It's a little bit like your share funds. They spread the risk. So why not spread the risk, and within each category, you actually pick different strategies as well. Start with one, master that. When you master that, you can add another one as well. So it's quite in depth, but if you plan it from the beginning, you you save yourself so much headache, so much time loss, making really big financial, because it is a big expense, from making some really, really big financial mistakes. And of course, speaking to someone that, can help you along the way, that's done it before, a mentor or a coach, that makes it so much easier.
Yeah, so who would you go to start, this portfolio? Would you try and do it on your own, or would you, as you say, go to a mentor or coach, or would you go to a financial advisor or a property broker, or how would you start that?
Okay, you can always talk to your financial advisor, your financial planner, or you could find someone in property, like myself, I sort of would reach out for someone that's done it. They must have done it. And especially with your mentoring or coaching, look for someone that's 10 levels above. Because if you go to someone for property advice and they've bought one property, well, it could have been just the unit around the corner, just for the sake it's close to home. So it's not much strategy or thought gone into that. If you go for one that's got multiple properties across a different range, then they've learnt different things, they've made different mistakes. They can stop you, help you, prevent you from making those mistakes, and they'll get you there far quicker, so your portfolio grows faster. So I would reach out to someone like myself, who's a property mentor and a wealth coach and a buyer's agent who does it every day. I look at properties every day, and just get some help, because it's such a big purchase. Emotions come into it as well, and that's when you find fear might come in, overwhelm might come in. So someone like myself that does the mindset work as well, we can help you release that and get you to the next step as well. But I always say go to someone experienced that's got a bit of a proven record.
Yeah. So when is it too early to start looking at being a property investor?
Oh, I bought my first property when I was 17. I was working for 6 months and I bought a block of land. So you can buy, if you're that age, you have to get a guarantor to sign your loan off. So probably from 18 above, if you've got to do it on your own. So start. As soon as you know you've got the funds for a deposit and you've got the right advice around you and support, in my opinion, I don't think it's too early, because once you're in, then you can get the growth happening, capital increase. And once that comes in, that can then be pulled out later on and taken.
Okay, that's good advice. So, what solid foundations, I guess, other than the things that you've mentioned, would someone even at 17 need to have? Are you still there, Diane? Hello?
Hello.
Ah, we froze. Are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Hear me? Oh, good. No, I'm still
Okay, we'll cut that bit out for later. So
Good.
what other solid foundations would, someone need in place to start their portfolio?
I think knowledge
Yeah.
of property, but there's so many different strategies out there, and there's so many people saying like that have their niches. To start from the beginning can be quite overwhelming. So I would sort of get an expert, work out which way you want to go, and then research on that. Like if you want to be someone that flips properties, well, then you've got to research how you do that. If you want someone that wants to subdivide, you've got to learn about that. So I wouldn't say study everything. No, just niche it down and study what is, suitable to you. Find people that have done it and learn from them, because you'd be surprised the amount of people that are in the industry that are quite happy to help out.
Yeah, and how do you prevent yourself from getting sucked in by dodgy people? How do you know that they're dodgy? What are the signs to look out for?
I think myself, if it sounds too good, if it's something way off the Richter scale compared to whatever's there, yes. You've got to be careful. If you sort of, I think sometimes you've got to go with your gut too. If that feeling is, and then again, if you've got opportunities to come to you, find someone or go to your account. If you're not sure about the figures, always use your own, very strong on this, your own accountant, your own solicitor or conveyancer, your own financial planner, because it's better to have your own who knows what your plan is with your progression. I'll make sure that property sort of sits in there and it's independent advice.
Yeah.
So it's not linked to where you are purchasing from.
Yeah, we got sucked into that years ago. Sounded they offered us everything, give me your super, I'll invest it for you. And we'll get you this house of your dreams, and it'll have this, that, and that. So we signed over our super to their super account and did all that, and waited and waited and waited, and nothing happened. And and we didn't have a lot of super at the time, so we got it all back except for $2,000 or something. So we were very lucky in that instance. But
that pain you must have gone through, Rose, that fear of...
I was terrified. It was terrifying because, it was just a lot of money. And, it was awful. I hated it, It's someone came along and it actually worked out that I found out later that he was actually a con man and had been stinging people for a long time. But it took about 2 years to find that out. So it was.
Yeah, it takes a long time, and it takes a long time, and then it's the expense and heartache of trying to get it back to.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're like Phoenix companies, and they just come up, they go and do their own merry thing, they take everyone's money, and then they close.
Yeah.
And then you've got to try and track them down.
That's what happens.
So when I do my property mentoring with my clients, I educate them. They make good decisions, because there are, unfortunately, in the industry, and with any industry, there are people that don't come from a good place. It's all about taking your money and just running, which there is karma out there. There's
unscrupulous dealers in every industry, I think, and it's for the uninitiated or unwary people, they'll take advantage, and they will.
They will, especially first-time property buyers.
Absolutely.
Or investors.
What great advice,
Pardon?
What great advice have you got for our listeners today?
Great advice have I got? Take the step. Take a leap of faith. For those of you that are a bit fearful, and you don't know where to start, just take that leap of faith in yourself but have your surrounding people around you. So every investment you go into, you must fully understand, even down to what entity you buy into, his name, or you go into a trust. You've got to have the plan from the beginning, because even putting into the right purchase structure saves you so much money as well from making this costly mistake at the end. So, yeah, I would say, look, it's great. Get over your first time nerves, and you won't look back if you purchase, the right way.
All right. And where can people find you, Diane?
You can find me at Good Property Group, which is GOODE, and Property Group. You could email me at Diane, Diane, at good, GOODE, propertygroup.com.au. And I'm also on LinkedIn as well.
Perfect. And if you've got any books or anything that you wanted to let our listeners know about?
The books I like are very much on mindset. And if you're looking for a little bit of motivation and sort of maybe increasing your income streams, multiplying them out, I highly recommend 1 Minute Millionaire. I have read that book for over 20 years, on and off. I just get drawn to it. And it's a fantastic book. One side is actually a story, a fictional story, and then the other side is the how-to, which is great. You can just read whichever part you want first. I also like The Magician's Way. It's about future visioning, and when you've got your 7-year plan, I recommend you, whatever that person is you have to become at the end of that 7 years, that you start living that today. So whatever goal you've got around your wealth creation, you are that person today. So, and that's the story that goes along with The Magician's Way as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I think with what you've explained to us today, people will be rushing madly to go and buy their first properties and getting that mindset in place.
Beautiful.
So thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we can talk again later on in the year.
Would love to. And thank you, Rose, for having me, and thank you to everyone that's listened.
All right. You have a great afternoon.
You too.